Hi, people. I know this is a unexpected. I was actually oohing and ahhing thinking about it. Just a relaxed chat, really. Hi, me. It's a relaxed chat. So I thought I'll share with you what's on my mind and what's coming through. Um, yeah, give you insight. It's not really, going around there. I see a lot of illusion. There's illusions upon illusions upon illusions, and especially the funny stuff in this awakened movement or light worker starseed movement. It's very carpeted to keep people from reaching. Well, I don't know. Who knows? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But it is extremely infiltrated to try and lead people, especially those that are very naive and trusting. I see it very clearly. So there are selling stories and sides. That is all ego stuff and light work and this and that. Anyway, there's all kinds of, but it is very co-opted and trying to be steered and controlled again, your consciousness to a certain level. And anyway, but that's also souls, that's journeys and lessons. If they, you can clearly see that some need to learn discernment and things. So I thought I'll share something with you with all these observations, because then you're using the higher mind in, well, you want to say, and you using your intellect, your logic, your common sense, your all things, you're able to see clearly, and you're able to have more discernment when you actually not just because they light workers or you like them or you follow them or whatever else. And yeah, also if you don't understand how consciousness works and how the mind works, or the Buddhists call it the mind, we all, I fell into that trap when I first awakened, had no clue. And then you get to a certain level and you think, and there's no more. You kind of hit a wall on social media where you want to try and find, if you want to be, the highest level of, if you say consciousness, freedom, enlightenment, what Buddha reached, everyone's seeking, right? What everyone on this planet has been seeking for thousands of years since the fall is the truth, the enlightenment, the answer, the escape, whatever you want to see. Some for escape. And as the Buddhas lightly say, people, you can read either, there's two ways. It's either constantly over years you've been doing it, your soul progression, or it's, when you just get to, some people become enlightened because they just can't take the suffering anymore. Their soul's just like, that's it, I'm not doing this anymore. And they seek then, that really drives the person to forward, to find freedom, ultimate samadhi, freedom, what they call heaven on earth, or however you want to perceive it. And those that are now, whose consciousness has risen and seeing all this stuff have got a better idea now that Jesus is one of them, many people, one of them. But it was passed down from Atlantis and so on, these teachings, right? And they were always kept quiet, like the Buddhists do as well. Because if the mind or if the ego is too distorted, and if you have this, you can lose your marbles. And you can, because your mind, is unbalanced, or it's too much, whatever, negativity or dark dense energy, it can be really not good. And as we know now, the whole planet's going through it. So you can get really caught in some, anyway. But that's neither here or there. So I've been watching this, and this is what happened out there. And no one has guidance because it's on a mass scale. It isn't like you chose to and you went to, a monastery or monk. It is not exactly around the corner either in the West. It's not something in the West. The West are struggling, I think, more because they didn't, it's not like it was taught yet. It wasn't common knowledge in the West. So the West are being thrown into the deep end. And I started the light worker ascension movement, whatever, starseed movement, and, there we are. But all it is still the ego again. It's an ego. It's just a different level. The ego is becoming more, it's shedding more of its negativity. So I'm going to share some insight with you. What the Buddhists call the mind, the yogis, the higher teachings, right? If they call it the mind. Now, so let me try and put this into... I've been sharing stuff on my TikTok page for a reason, to help people, because the average movement out there, the awakened movement, the starseed, light worker thing, is all the same thing. It's on a lower level of consciousness, right? You might be awake and you might get your abilities, if you want to say a lower level, but the understanding, you're still in the Maya, in the ego. So like me, I got to a point where, like, you kind of hit that, and I was like, okay, you're not getting it online. So I sought that information. So I often share screenshots of YouTube channels you can go and watch, which answer a lot, actually. Wow, I found out a lot of things that I saw, what the astral actually is. You see, because even a regression and these things don't help, because it's still coming through the individual ego's filter, mind's perception. And depending on how distorted in the life, you know what I mean? So people think what they hear through regressions or any of these things are truth. No, because it's still coming through a filter. It's still inside the Maya. All of it. Doesn't matter which realm, which, whatever, anyway, dimensions and things you're talking about. They're still playing a being, a separate being. I am an alien. I am a human. I am a whatever. Okay, there we are. That's the Maya. Okay. So, sounds interesting, but what really I got a lot more clarity in the last few days, is that even the Bible talks about it, and then there was spoken into words, spoken into manifestation, spoken into like creation, right? You know what that was? The ego, the separate. That's how you when you start a new life kind of thing, right? So let me try and give you an idea. This is where the trap is, and this is what people seek the ultimate freedom from, depending on you. You don't. But most egos at the moment are shedding they're tired of suffering. So they're shedding the negativity, this manifestation, positivity, and affirmations, because the mind is possible. While you're in the dream, if you're using the thoughts and the mind and I am and all this and your own thoughts and believing and you manifestation, visualizing, intending, whatever, that is conscious creating. You're creating something then more positive now because the mind is strong. If you believe it, and there's no conflicting. Anyone can tell you, go and follow manifestation, Abraham Hicks. That's easy to figure out, yes, but that is still the ego. You see, that is still the ego, the identity, the I am a being doing it. But at least it's going in a more positive way. As they say, master the mind. You're learning to get your mind under control, your thoughts under control, so you stop the negative cycle as much. But this is where the but pop comes in. If you listen carefully to people like Bashar, Abraham Hicks, Quran, anyone basically, who teaches this on a high level, they'll tell you, and even Buddhists, even monks, even yogis always say, just be, allow, don't resist, don't, no, I don't, this, I don't. They accept everything that comes into your reality. And you'll see now that's even coming through the egos thing, trying to teach, coming through humanity from the Lightworker movement, Starseeds, whatever, Awaken movement, is to not resist, you're starting to learn, is to allow. So if you say, no, I don't like this, or don't want something, or you complain, anything that comes into your reality, you're blocking it. Then all you're doing is stopping yourself moving forward, or that lesson will come around again because you're not accepting it, you can't move forward. You see, it won't pass through. Because obviously the mind, somewhere in your egos, you've created this. Thoughts, minds, positive, past, whatever, who knows, that's part of the Maya. But what I discovered was, if you have started that path, which I did, and now I did this guided from say, source. Let's say we're talking a separate, there is no separate, but when I initially woke up, I was like, I'm over this, and I completely surrendered. And I sought to end it, you see, I sought to end this. As they say, you had enough suffering, you're like, that's it, I'm just over it. And then you, as I say, that's what people normally do, seek that, right? So I was guided into no thought. Now I had no practice, no anyone telling me, it just, I was just moved that way. And practicing not thinking, like being pure awareness every day. Anyway, I did it for a while, and basically you stopped thought. Most of the time you stopped thought. So your mind, it was just quiet. It's very hard to explain. If you've never experienced it or been that, what they call transcend the mind, even though it's temporarily, it's incredible. It's like you are constantly tapped in and you're not thinking. So you are constantly receiving mode. There's no thoughts. It's very peaceful. There's no thoughts. It's quiet. You're always in a state of bliss. It's only, you'll just be guided every now and then just to do that or go here. It's like really, really walking in that absolute guidance. So what I didn't realize is what you're doing is eliminating the ego, because that was slowly dissolving, the I. So you're moving it out the way. It's not like I am doing this, I'm thinking, I'm deciding, I want, I. That's the ego. I want to manifest. I want this, I want that, I want, it's constantly creating. So you must understand though, you can go for this high, and whatever you want is good, but there's always the opposite end of the scale, because you are playing and you choosing to still stay in duality or polarities. So eventually, you, like the Buddhas say, that's why they call it samsara. So you can be rich in next life, and if you had seen enough lives, you'll see it's like, you'll have a good one, a bad one, and you can just go through this hamster wheel. Now, those that, it depends on wisdom and maybe their souls, eventually decide, no, I'm like, no, thank you, I had enough of this now. That's when you seek to the real escape, as they say, not escape, but the real truth, the real, like, that's it. You just want to you want to sort this out. Most people aren't there. Most people are happy now playing this game at the moment. It's a more positive game. At Lightworker, and I'm a starseed, I'm a manifest, I'm a healer, and I want to make a nice life, and there we are. But understand, you can reach, as what's the name says, the highest at the end of the band. So the higher you want, the more you think the scales are going to tip eventually again. Anyway, never mind. You can, maybe this life or next. But that's where they say the suffering comes, because if you desire something, you're saying, I don't want that, I want this. It's a selection process. You see, instead of just being, when you do away with the mind, is no you choose and nothing. You just sit there. You don't manifest intentionally, you do nothing. And then it comes into your life and it goes. And if it comes, okay, it goes, go, whatever. You then, there is no karma. You're breaking that cycle. Because then it's pure source that is basically without a middle person deciding, no, I don't like this, no, I want that, no. Source is just doing it, and you're just observing. You're being the pure observer, which the Buddha reached, and a few have reached that. All right. Now I temporarily did that for a bit, and then not knowing what it was, and thought, this is awesome. It was what amazing. Not knowing why, any of this. No clue, no teaching, no background in this at all. And then, of course, something goes wrong and you're like, oh my gosh. Then you still started playing and choosing and taking sides, and this, me, and, them, and that's ego again. You see, good, bad, da-da-da-da-da. You're playing in the Maya, and then you'll just come down again. So you are feeding the ego, the separate identity. So what I shared 2 screenshots of a yogi's channel, the Conscious Circle or something I found on YouTube. Very, very good. His talks are very good. Wow. And he talks about the ego's dissolution. Now, a few people this is what the Buddhists practice constantly: quiet, meditation, chanting, so they don't give the chance for the mind. You see, chant, meditating, or staying in that presence, the mind gets busy, distracted. So eventually, like, here's Joe Dispenza will tell you, right? You don't use it, you lose it. That's why they say you've got to be careful with this, with AI and with these games. Because if kids are playing certain games, they're going to lose certain abilities or certain neural pathways of the brain because they're not using them. That wiring just, stops it, because now you evolved, you just evolve out of it. Because you're not using it, because you're living in some TV game or something. Now, the same sort of thing here. If you don't feed the mind, but this is extremely difficult, because remember, this is how the ego was born. You never left source, as people understand. You are not here. This is completely a false thing. This body, this being, I'm living, I'm born, my past, my future is absolute nonsense. There isn't a past and a future. There isn't, and that's why we suffer, because, you said that happened, and then it's good, then it's bad, then he broke up with me. This is why they say the wheel of samsara. It's always, you're always, as long as you choose to stay separate or in samsara or as an ego, you are going to, the suffering will never end, because it's going to be a heartbreak, or you're rich, or you're poor, or you're there, you know what I mean, or whatever, because you are separated yourself from source, and depending on all thoughts, the mind is the ego. So what you do when they say no thoughts is starve it. So if you, it's not really easy to do, play pure ego and practice every day to quieten it, and eventually the mind gets quieter and quieter, and you're used to not thinking. You ignore them, like you don't pay attention to them. It's like, oh, look there, you distract the mind, and you just sit in a fit of presence. You don't bite a thought and agree with the thought or get upset. There's no reaction. You see, the ego, these thoughts, is all the part of the made up. It keeps this illusion alive. So as long as you want to play, this being, this body, this you, this separate thing, you're not source, you know, power, will exist. Because that's where the mind, the thoughts, this whole thing, program, that's the program. If you're looking for the matrix, that is it. But if you starve it, so you don't choose anything. You don't want this, no preferences, no emotions. You ignore emotions. Oh, my past. Oh, but any nonsense that comes into your mind, you ignore all thoughts. You don't agree with them. You don't. It's like as if, what's the name saying? You're pretending you are watching a movie. It's not yours. You are just, oh, okay, and you're listening to those thoughts, and you're listening. It's like you are the observer of those. You see, you've got to separate it. Understand the thoughts are nothing to do with you. Because the minute you keep choosing to play in the game, I want this, I want a house, I want a boyfriend, this, and you listen to the thoughts, and yes, I've got a past, that's it. It's all illusion. That's all of the suffering. You've got to if you choose to let go of it, you train the mind again into, and then what they say is that eventually, like anything, it completely goes away. That is when you reach what they call heaven and samadhi. That's what the ultimate goal is of, I would say, ascension, freedom, liberty, enlightenment, you know. There we are. That's it. Really it is. Because then the whole thing is cancelled. You are just purely, you understand there is no separation. Source, and you see it, is dreaming. That is you. You are just dreaming. This is your dream. There we are. And there's no choice, no good or bad. It's like you're on a remote control. Here we are. And you just allow things just to cruise along. And then there is no choice. You see, there is no thing to come back. No, because you're not playing. You're not engaging in the yes, I don't. Yes, I do like it. No, I don't. Yes, I'm sad. No, I'm happy. But that's it. And eventually, now I want to see, that would be amazing, that all thoughts stop, cease, and you actually completely transcend what you want to call the realm of thoughts. Oh my gosh, what heaven. Because that is, sorry people, that is the suffering. I forgot to put my phone on silent. I'm sorry. I forgot to put my phone on silent. I should have said, anyway, never mind. Let me put it on silent now. There we are. I normally put it on Do Not Disturb or something. I completely forget. Now, the one time I don't put it on Do Not Disturb, guess what? It rings. It's my daughter, my oldest daughter. So really, that is the ultimate freedom, because you end all suffering. You see? Because otherwise the ego will keep, like the past, people say, it will torture you over your past. It'll never stop. It tries to say, oh, look at me. Oh, that happened to me. Oh, he hurt me. Oh, this happened. Oh, she did. But, you know what I mean? Because we choose. It's a game. That's what it is. It's choosing. It's chosen to be separate from who you are. It's chosen, it's pretending it's not the creator. I'm now this, and I'm in charge, and I have a life, and you create this whole illusion, this whole world. Really, it's made up. Think about it from the time you're small, and you know yourself, you're busy doing it. I'm manifesting, I'm creating. It's creating its own little world here. But if you're playing, it's chosen this side. It's chosen a good or bad, yes, happy, not sad. That's the problem, you see. So I can tell you what, from being in that situation of having no thought, of transcending thought for a bit, oh man, people, your frequency, never mind, goes through the roof. But then you see, if you choose, that's the trick, not to make any decisions, only that come from source. So if you stop all thoughts, only those things will, you'll get the guidance. Okay, you do it. You will choose nothing and do absolutely nothing that doesn't come from source. Then you are operating as the creator. That's when they have the power, as you saw, to move mountains, to part the ocean, to do whatever. That is seriously, because then the real you has the power. This separate thing that's playing, I've got a life, look, creating its little dream here, has no power, because it's pretending you're not the creator. So how can you have the power if you're not playing yourself? But if you choose to move your consciousness away from this, back to source, the observer, you'll realize all those lives. So you haven't only got access to the one you, that what you think is your past, present, and future, all those lives are at once. You can move between them, which your conscious does. It moves between this, and if you want to say past, future, this, I'm a that, I'm a planet. That's it. All the dream, all the things are, there we are. There is no small, powerless, and you're not stuck in the law of attraction, because you're not choosing, you're not separating, you're not, how would I say, judging or anything, you see. You're just like, okay, you're letting it happen, because you're understanding you're taking you're taking me away. I'm not doing anything. Source is doing it. I am source. Dreaming. It's a funny place to be here. Anyway, here we are. I'm working on this again, quietening. Wow, and having complete peace. I don't want temporary peace. Thank you, because I've been there, and I tell you what, it's so awesome. This is not fun. So I'm now pulling back from you see. And it's going to train the mind again, because it's so used to, it's attached to everything. Oh, anyway, the body, the mind, blah, blah. So yeah, I'm working on that again. You just get to the point where like, no, I'm not. This is, going around and round and round and round in this hamster wheel. And there's a lot of manipulation and illusion out there, and most people aren't aware. What's going on between all of them, this association and movement is still in the illusion. You've got to understand, you're still playing in the Maya. If you're choosing to do any of these, but at least, you are controlling the mind, the positivity, the thoughts, affirmations. Like Joe Dispenza's teaching, he's teaching you to program into positive emotions, positive thoughts, so they don't cause you harm. Yes. There's literally the mind, that ego it's creating its own separate life, and that's why it suffers, because it's first of all an illusion. It's not separate, your source, and it's got some, as you see, shadow, light, good, bad. You're playing in duality. No, I don't. Yes, I do. But when you stop that mind, you'll see those things stop, and those thoughts stop, and the choices and the feeling of separation stops, because it dissolves. That's the real, as I shared, the real dissolving of the ego. It's not the shadow work. What you want to call shadow work, the dark night of the soul, no. That's your ego shedding. It's the negative side. It's negative traits, it's shadow. That's all it's doing. It's clearing up a lot of the negative. You see, more like it's a negative side. The balance is being corrected, but it's still ego. There's no difference. If you still believe you're a human in a body and you are separate from source, You have an identity, you have a body, I'm born, I've got a past, then that's the Maya. You're identifying with the weaker, smaller self. And the one that keeps carnating and going around and then has a good life and a bad life and a happy and sad and da 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 da. Anyway, that was a choice when I woke up. It was like, I'm over it. I'm done with this hamster wheel. I chose to get off the hamster wheel. And then you got, as I say, not knowing because I don't have the guidance and teaching, you do well, and then you dropped into this. Then you get a choice of not knowing, oh, okay, you're choosing again. Oh, no, but yes, I would like that, and I want that, you know what I mean? And you're playing, and you drop down. Anyway. So there we are. I'll be sharing some. You can watch them or not, it's up to you. But if you're not driven to do it, as I say, not many people are really got that drive to do it. Look at those people. It takes serious dedication. That's why they go and, they disown, they don't identify with anything, even their family, like it says my child. They know it's all an illusion. Anything, child, me, family, I'm a brother, I'm a sister, I have a body, any of this, they know it's just all illusion. You see? So the more you play in the illusion, if you're, as you know, you put your conscious and focuses, if your focus and conscious is still being in this smaller stream, this lower frequency, because it's, you are source, you're just narrowing your little, you're having a little pliff over here, you're like a little blip, that's it, no power, because you are not playing you are playing some little being over there, you see. Anyway, I decided, I was like over this one, when I was thinking, now, why, what happened, then I was guided back to these videos again. Luckily, I found these ones again, and I'm like, oh, all right. Anyway. But it's hard work. I remember how much work it was in the beginning to quieten the mind. Oh my gosh, people. We're back at it again. And in the beginning, it's very difficult. So that's why I'm very quiet. At the beginning, it's very difficult because it will try all kinds of hooks to try and get your attention. You think it's you, or negative hooks. It's going to try and, look you bad, or make you feel bad, or make you get upset, or trigger you, or do anything for you to jump back into it. Oh, you see, that's me. Oh, the body, I'm upset, I'm hurt, I'm this, I'm happy, I want, I like that. No, I don't. Whatever, you know what I mean? Anything. It's just going to want you to play. You've got to keep this farce alive, this life you think you're living. You've got to participate in it. You see? When you stop participating in it, the illusion comes to an end. Anyway. And I remember, did it give me a hell of a hard time when I was trying to, when I was withdrawing my conscious or my energy or focus away from the mind, trying to silencing it, and kept practicing. As soon as it started, my thoughts are going on, I was like, again. Well, it was, you get some real. So there we are. I'm back on that road again. Yeah. Very much. It very much. And that's what I say, it's a tricky one because people are happy. Everyone's in the illusion still. I'm a light worker, I'm doing this, and I'm a light language, and blah, 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 blah. But that's fine. That's choice. You see, that's where it depends on what they want and if they've agreed to it or whatever. It's the same thing, But just understand, if you choose to play in that, then you are playing in the good, bad side, happy, sad side. And it's going to go around. Sooner or later, as I say, that you can have a blip in the road. You know what I mean? Or maybe the next, I don't know, who knows. But it's getting, at least the negative pattern is being moved out. Because humanity was in a very negative, because of the thoughts, the mind's emotion. Still a long way to go it. So they were creating such suffering on the planet. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, that's why I shared those things. It's to literally ignore all thoughts. You have to ignore every thought, every desire, every anything. Stop playing. Stop playing this and just be. Because if Source wants something to happen, it's going to happen. It will come to you. Life will happen to you. You don't have to seek, want, desire anything. You stop all desire, stop. But it's a thought thing. It's so amazing when you get there. But then you see, I didn't realize. And then I was slowly pulled back out of it. And the ego was dissolving. I tell you what, you'll know when you start hitting that. You will feel so amazing. You don't want to trade. Once you've tasted that exactly, you're not happy to give that up in a hurry, let me tell you. So I'm working my way back to that. It was just guided when I first went through this. And then you slowly got pulled back into the illusion, because I didn't know, you see. I didn't know that. But it's a learning thing. How did you know that the thoughts and all of these things and all that nonsense and my past lives and all that, all of it's an illusion. It's telling you. So the ego's drama, it'll create, oh, look at my life. Oh, I did that. All of my past life. Oh, that hurt me. Oh, my gosh, it's got to, it's going to try and get you to engage. So it's going to bring up anything and everything. Drama, excitement, past life. Ooh, let's manifest that. Oh, boyfriend, would you like a new car? Well, it's just, it's busy. It's seeking. Noise. And when you stop it all, oh, it's so nice. And then that real light, that real presence, that real essence enters and starts dissolving, and you just feel. Then more of, you know what I mean? You are dissolving this false, and you're allowing more of that in. And it's like being Source again. You are sitting in this just your true energy, your true essence, which is just peace, which is just quiet, which is just bliss, which is just free, happy. It just is. It's just in this constant state of absolute quiet, calm, just, how would I, complete contentment, satisfaction, I suppose, feeling. That's what you feel. That's that state that you stay in. But I didn't realize you're going to stay in it. I don't know for how long I'm going to work out. Who knows? And I suppose, it obviously wasn't long enough, was it? Shit. So I suppose in that part of the wiring is snapped, or was broken. Because they'll say, you'll know, that's it. It's gone for good. Could you imagine for having complete freedom of no thoughts? Oh, yes, I'm all in. Absolutely there. Hi. Oh, those videos I shared. It's by literally, and I've just explained in this video. And I've shared now, is a channel it's a yogi channel, but it's very good actually. The guy really is talking, which you're not getting it from anywhere else out there. They're not trying to encourage you anyway. They're more trying to encourage people to believe, and there's a lot of manipulation. Actually, TikTok as well lately has really got, every now and then they threaten TikTok, and then TikTok gets a lot worse. So they obviously put pressure on them, threaten them with money or ban them in certain countries, so they'll lose money, and then the content is flooded with all kinds of horrible stuff. So TikTok at the moment is flooded with not positive stuff, not at all. Not much of this is going on out there, and it's not fun. It's really. So this you don't find easily, because all the things you find out there on the Awaken movement is all in the ego. It's a light worker. It's identifying with, I am a past, I have a life, I have a this, I'm my higher self. Again, separate. But this is how we just try. You see, my higher self. No. There is no. You are that. It's to stop identifying with this and identify with that. That's it. And that's why I shared this. If you look on yesterday, this is so strange. Yesterday or the day before, I got a TikTok violation thing. And I'm like, what? I never share content I wouldn't anyway. It's just not my channel is to uplift people. Not to, try and get them out of the nonsense and illusion and trouble and rubbish and fear-mongering and negative, all the dark shadow, nasty, any other nonsense going on out there, right? And stories trying to capture, because whatever you decide, because you're creating this, your ego just makes its own little dream. You're creating a whole little, this is an illusion. You're creating your life, your thoughts and whatever you believe in, you make story, you're making it up. It's a dream. You're making this dream up. You're dreaming this shit. There we are. So they know this quite well. So they put out their, this is good and those are bad and this is that, and you buy into that. Well, there we are. That's it. This is why they say don't choose to believe anything that's not positive. That's not positive for you. That isn't going to have a positive outcome for you. So you always see, like the Buddhas, and this is higher teachings will tell you, everything is positive. No matter what happens, choose. It's going to be, because it gives you the positive outcome. At the moment, everyone's, they don't want that. Then they will not have a positive outcome, you see, because they're choosing, they're saying, no, it's not going to be nice. So you are basically saying, oh, this is not going to be good for me, so there we are. So that's what you will experience. Problem. And this is why the Buddhas say, don't push anything away, don't reject any circumstances or anything that happens in life to you, around you. They know this is not them anyway. And so there's no yes, there's no preference. Don't take a preference. That's good, that's bad. They don't choose, they have no preference. They stay neutral. It's just a lot of practice. It starts off very disciplined. You're going to watch yourself and your thoughts. So it's starting off, first of all, is going back to quieten the mind. That's probably the most time consuming, and because you're not going to achieve anything else, those ones, until you get that right. So it's being aware of your thoughts again. Oh, man. And then it's going to try and hook you and upset you and scare. It's going to try and play games with you when you do that, because it knows exactly what you're trying to do. And obviously, to continue the dream again, once you do engage. So it's going to, oh, look, it happened, oh, no, that, whatever, anything to try and drag you back into identifying with a life, your life, past, this, that, upset, drama, trouble, circumstance, anything. Oh. So it's basically to keep, not engage with any thought. So don't encourage thinking either, right? So normally we're so used to thinking all the time. Whatever you're doing, you're thinking. It's not to use the mind. Stop using your mind completely. It's very interesting, the thinking mind. Because you'll see there's still clatter going on, and you'll be able to discern that tick is the clatter and what source. You see? It's fascinating. Really is. So I've shared some screenshots of some good, things you can go, and there's a lot of teachings on there, very useful stuff to help you. And they describe there as well that that's what actually got, funny enough, I just saw this, one of my things I posted a video, it wasn't a video, it was a screenshot, violated community standards, and I was like, what? I know I don't do that. So I was like, but this is AI, AI. So AI picked up on this screenshot on this channel. They are obviously following, or it's this yogi's channel, or maybe it's his guru, it's his yogi, whatever it is. There's an Indian yogi dressed as a real Indian yogi, because we know it's a lot warmer there in Hubert. So all they do is wear this loin cloth thing, it looks like an oversized underwear, really. You know what I mean? They wrap this cloth thing around between their legs. It's like Tarzan style. I don't know what it is, right? And they run around, basically, that's it. They just have this loincloth thing, and they don't, these yogis, and that's it. They don't have any other clothing because it's frippin' warm there. So it's like this man, tall, skinny man, Indian man, in a loincloth yogi, whatever I don't know what the name, I don't really know the proper name for it. So the screenshot on part of the video, on part of quite a few of his videos, is this yogi. Sometimes he's standing there, or he's walking, but he's got this. He's basically, wearing a lot. It looks like he's just wearing rather large underwear, yogi, whatever that's traditional thing. So the AI picked it up, and somehow I thought it's not nudity. You can't see anything. I read their thing, what they classed as nudity. There's far from it. There's nothing, funny about that in the context. It's not out of context at all. It's all over TikTok. So it then covered up the video, and I said, no, I disagree with that, because this is not violating any standards. And even the content doesn't, or pictures or anything. So anyway, obviously they looked at it and they unblocked it yesterday. So I was like, no, your AI's scanned something, mis-scanned something there. There's nothing, anything that's, what you want to call, dodgy, sleazy, or like sneaking out that you can see anything you don't want to see, put it that way. There's no kind of what they called nudity. There wasn't any. Yes, he hasn't got a shirt on and pants, but it's like, look at all the people running to the beach. It's like he's wearing a costume. There's nothing obscene about people in the beach, and they're all over there. They're bikinis that you can't even see these days. I mean, if you call them a bikini, I wouldn't say it's a bikini. I think it's just a little piece of cloth with some really scary bikinis out there. So, yeah, anyway. Nothing like that, anyway. But it's been unblocked. So if you go to my TikTok page, you'll see the screenshots of that channel. And he's got some very good content. And there's 2 good ones on there. But let me tell you, it's practice and it's meditating every day. 0-point meditation. And constantly, like whatever you're doing, if you're doing the dishes, it's like you are constantly watching yourself and your thoughts. So you've got to constantly take your consciousness and pretend. If you're trying to meditate or you're trying to astral project or remote view, right? It's like you visualize yourself. You can see yourself looking down at yourself. So what you're doing is constantly putting your focus here above your head. It's like that. And being aware. So it's like you're observing yourself the whole time. Practice. Keep doing it. Take your eyes or your consciousness and observe yourself. So you are watching you all the time, watching you doing the dishes, watching you doing this. You're going to practice playing the observer the whole time. And when the thoughts are there, they're going to keep coming. And then otherwise, if you want to quieten them, you just go, or breathe, try. And you will be... It is work, and it can be challenging, and it doesn't make it easy for you, let me tell you. It does. To think I've got to go through it all again. And did I go through some fighting with about 2 years ago? Wow, did I have fun with that thing. But I achieved it to quite a good state. It was lovely. So yeah, I'm like, no, I don't want to play. Because... look, if you're young, maybe you still want, as I'm saying, it's desire. That's all ego. It's not worth it. I'm like, no ways. I'm not, no. You see? If Source, which is me, desires whatever it wants to play out, it's going to play out anyway. That's it. As long as you say, but watch that, the thoughts in the mind. So they do go off, try and, bring it back to the body, or again, as they just bring your focus back up, you're observing yourself. So every time you catch yourself going off for anything, back there again. Otherwise, it will start. You've got to be observant, but also not identify them. You see, that's why they say, if you identify them as my thoughts, oh no, don't do that. You mustn't do choosing. Then you're basically saying they're yours. They can impact you again. You see where the catch is. It's a fine line. So that's why I shared those videos. You listen to them, and you maybe keep listening to them for a few days. It'll help you to solidify it. Because what you will do is what you're used to doing. When there's thoughts come in, negative thoughts, you think, oh my gosh, okay, no, it's made a negative thought. What you have done is just shot yourself in the foot again, because now you're identifying as, okay, I am going to be affected. This is my thoughts. No, they're not your thoughts. But to break that habit, see, this is the pattern. The pattern of it's my body, my thought. Oh. my life, my past, my this, my that. No. Not, it's all an illusion. But when you've seen it, which I did, all of this, I got all there. But I didn't stay there because I didn't have the teachings or knowledge or know, that it could fall, whatever. Didn't know that anyway. There we are. Lesson learned, lessons learned. Lessons, they're lessons. Yes. You really are, but that's the fact though. You actually are source. You never left. And they tell you that all the time. It's true. It's true. But, if I'd known all these things then, I wouldn't have fallen back down again. But then would I be telling you this, you see? There's the I again. There is no I source anyway. And then you also, when you start that journey, that's when they say the real oneness comes in. The real sense of oneness. You really do. Because everything, it's only you. This is a dream. Nothing is real. Everything that you think the world is outside, there is no outside. There is nothing. This is all made up. It's all within you. It's all your dream. There is no world. There's no people. It's just you. So then you'd hate nothing and you love everything. You see? Because it is you. You are dreaming it. You're it's so difficult. It's difficult to explain. But you don't need to. You'll actually feel it. Because if you get into that state and practice that state, it'll happen on its own. You see? Because then you are now focusing the real you more and more and more. And that illusion is fading and fading, and eventually, as I say, it completely stops. Now that is the gold. That is the ultimate, which every yogi, Buddha, esoteric thing, teaching, Nordic, this, that, whoever, Freemasons, whoever was seeking after, trying to find, that's it. The ultimate state of being, the ultimate is whatever they say, reality, truth, illusion, freedom, dimension, awareness, reincarnation, however you want to put it, you see. There we are. That is the highest truth you can attain. And literally, that's why they say that a lot of them, people, when they reach past that, they do leave their body shortly after, because then what the energy really is doing is moving itself back. You are disidentifying with this because it is not true. You're pulling back to the original you. So they say, I think even Sadhguru talks about it, that energy would open up that top crown chakra. That's why they put the hair on top as well, focus, because energy starts drawing out of the body. So normally once they reach a certain level, they normally leave within 2 years after. They normally, leave because you're not, first of all, playing the game anymore. And you've come to what you came here to do is find out who you are. Well, you hit the nail on the head. You hit the jackpot, so you know what I mean? So you didn't have to stay and play. So they leave. People that reach this state now have passed or qualified, whatever, and they leave. You will soon after depart the planet. I don't know. There we are. So the real truth, but that's not being shared out there. So all of this, most of this other content are 3-letter agencies actually behind all these other movies and stories and so-called disclosure movements. Yeah. It is actually, anyway, inside is, anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of, you just observe all of this and you just, okay, it's for people, also for them not to be, it's maybe a lesson. If they're playing in this, as part of they're playing this, not to be so trusting, not to be so, you've got to use all, if you're going to play this game when you're in here, you have your intuition, you have the, as you say, that feeling, the intuition, and then you have the logical mind and everything else. Hopefully, hopefully you've learned, you've learned to use that, the discernment and the wisdom, and yeah, it takes all of those faculties to get there, so you don't, yeah. Anyway. I see this as, yeah, interesting. So there we are. That's why I'm being quiet, and I will be quiet. I was thinking about maybe even doing a bit of silence, like a week silence, or practice. Start with 2 days of complete silence. That wouldn't be too bad. Okay. That's what I say. People, I don't know where the stories are getting passed around, because you see, there's so many people with their own versions. This is their belief. They wake up and their truth, and they just out there. This is all ego, sharing their egos, their filter story, what they believe and their truth, and this and that. I mean, it's amazing. That's why it's so diverse. There is no one truth, because that's all, you make it up as you go. This is all a Maya. This is all an illusion. This is all ego. You're making up all these little lives and stories. The real you, as the Buddha says, unchanging. The creator never changes, doesn't have all these lives in any of us. Nope. That's all nonsense, yeah. It's all nonsense. It's all part of the game. But anyway, I've just chosen, other people choose to stay in the game. Good, it's a choice. Me, nope. No, thank you. Yeah. Yes. It's all just, yeah. Depends if you want to play, but understand what you can have can also be taken away from you. So people don't realize. Anyway, because you're playing in duality, you've chosen duality, and there's no power in that. Not real power anymore. So there we are. It's all choices. It's all good. I just don't want to. But I did ask as well. I said no more mind. I had enough of the mind. No more illusions. You see, this is the ultimate illusion. That was me. That's a choice. I decided no. So you guys can look. If you want to play this, as I say, you do the manifestation affirmations and go through this whole ego, mindless, and clean up. You're going to play that game, then you're going to go with those things, and you're going to play that. That's the one of, and then you're going to do all that purging, get rid of all the negative shadow and the negative. It can go on forever and ever, and lifetimes and lifetimes. The ego will just have fun, drama. It loves drama. And then you're going to go through all that, and then you can manifest and whatever and create, But that's what I'm saying. This is a temporary little thing. It's an illusion. It's just a little life. Poof. But what's your next one about? I'm like, no. You realize how much suffering you've had, how many lives you've been through? You're like, so people, you want to heal. I want to transcend. That's temporary healing. Because then the ego comes up again, like you saw. Oh, now it's healing again. Oh, then you're up and down. Then it's all wonderful. Then it's shadow work. Then it's good. Then it's bad. Then it's up. Then it's shadow again. Then I'm purging. Then I'm, you know what I mean? That's the ego. That's the real self. There's none of that nonsense. See? Yes, whatever. Yeah. There's none of it. But that's my choice, you see. I've been like, okay, no. Enough now. That's me. All right, people. I'll share that with you. So I'll be quiet for a bit. Because you don't want to, I want to be quiet and I'll be careful because I don't want to talk because that's the same thing. Now, how do you not talk? How do you engage without not engaging? People won't understand you when you're not saying I, me, my life, you see. Then you're playing, why would I want to drop back into that to play the illusion for other people, you see? Anyway. Interesting. interesting dilemma. So there we are. All right. Now you understand. So the information's out there. You can find out the real truth, the higher knowledge, and you decide how high you want to go. There we are. But this is what the Buddhas and everyone's attaining looked for that. This is what the ultimate. And they practice meditation and they go on for about 20 years or more, never mind lifetimes. So that's what it's all about. It's like, it's like, no, this is not worth it. You're not sacrificing a little bit of fun now and let the ego play, oh, I'm going to get rich and I'm going to be successful. You know what I mean? That's it. It's just a delusion. It's one little life you've fancied. This is the one dream you've got. But you are eternal. See, now I look at that and I'm thinking, no, we're not. And I've seen many thousands of lives, and let me tell you, they were not fun. And I'm like, no. Let's go. Let's not do that. No. So a temporary bit of, is, yeah. It's tempting. It'll tempt you into all kinds of ways. Tempt you into, oh, you can get that. Oh, you can have what you want. Oh, you can be happy. You want a boyfriend. You want this. You can be that. Oh, I can be, or it's going to try and drag you. Everything, the opposite direction. Oh, look at that. Oh, my gosh. Anyway. It's part of the illusion. As they say, spoken, thought. Because the minute you do that, you go into thought. And that thought creates, because that's what you're dreaming. Like, try and see it. If you listen to some of those things, he does a good job of explaining it. But imagine like you are dreaming now. You know what it's like, right? The same thing. This is a dream. Then you understand how it works. See it. So in the dream now, the ego you is going around, I can do that, I can do this, off it's on its own little, whatever. Oh dear. Yeah. But it's short-lived and it's not real. So that's what this whole thing is about when they talk about the matrix and Maya. That is the real matrix and Maya. There we are. And if anyone's trying to mislead you in circles and tell you this is and they are and that, and you're stuck on it's a lot of nonsense. You're not trapped and you never were. Nothing can trap you in the first place. Believing that you have a body and you're born is it. You just keep being born and the same nonsense. Anyway, that doesn't actually end there. I did ask. I remember that. Think about it. That doesn't actually end, but you can definitely go into much higher levels. But that, because you are eternal, I mean, it just, in this now moment never ends, right? It's a never ending now moment, eternity. So as source, like I was shown, when you yourself, there's only you and there is nothing. Nothingness. So imagine yourself, what I saw in my mind's eye, right, when I was shown, Source showed me. I didn't realize I was Source at the time. But there was Source. So Source was pure light. It's just energy. So you imagine this big cloud, this light cloud. It looks like a cloud. So you can imagine it's white and it's completely conscious. And that's it. There's only you. All that exists is you. And you're this cloud and that's it. So naturally, you'd get bored or lonely. There we are. This is why we do this. You see. But what people don't understand is this whole Lightworker Starseed movement and all this other nonsense disclosure thing is very much shadow. But it's also keeping you from liberating yourselves. Because it's keeping you in the Maya. Oh, you're trapped. Oh, you're this. Oh, you are a person. You are that. You're a Lightworker. You can, look at that. You can wave a magic wand and heal someone. Yes, that's great. You're going to wake up and come back again there. And you've seen how many planets and how many wars, things you've been through. You're like, Let me get a bit tired on that one. You see, but we do, because what else would you do? Literally, in saying it, and you're thinking about it, because you can't die. It's a dream. You yourself never leave. That's why they say you cannot be hurt. You cannot be trapped. All this nonsense, this ego, this illusion, the Maya. Yes, you can stay. That's what I'm saying. You can torture yourself for centuries and decades playing beings and dying and all this nonsense. But the real, when you decide you want to stop playing games, the real you is the creator. You have never left. You are never born. You never die. Nothing can happen to you. This is why we do this. You understand? So this is why Source created this, is because what the hell are you going to do? It was very lonely, because literally there I was, like this cloud of awareness, and there was nothing but me, myself, I. Could you imagine? It's like being stuck on a desert island, literally, and that's it. Nothing, not even a tree. Pretty much. So there we are. You now create. So you are creating this in your conscious, but it doesn't exist outside. There is no outside world and outside. It's very difficult for people. You've got to rise up and seek that knowledge, because it is out there, and I've shared many videos and screenshots to people that you can find that knowledge if you seek it, and you will. Then you will, and as you go up yourself, you'll see and realize, if you don't get caught in this other nonsense going on out there. That's all a distraction. This ET, good and bad, whatever, all that other stuff. It's a distraction. It's all an illusion, because it's also created by the ego. And whatever the ego believes it creates this life. You're manifesting, creating, you're creating that, whatever. Even in your astral, you're creating those, you're choosing that parallel. Oh no, I'm going to go and play on that planet, or that parallel reality, which is a good and bad, and there's going to be this, and there's going to be apocalypse, or whatever it wants to, create. That's it. But literally, you cannot be, if you choose to. Anyway, me, I'll go for gold, not half job. The half job is like, temporary satisfaction, temporary pleasure, temporary anything, illusion. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The ego, up and down. You're on this up and down roller coaster. That's what they say. Yeah. That's what the Buddhists say. You're stuck in this. That's what it is. All right, lovely people. So there we are. There's some insight I thought I'll share with you what I've been up to. And I'm like, So I'm withdrawing again to quieten the mind, thoughts. Right. And not help feed this anymore. So I might do a bit of silence, because I'm just over it, to get to the point where no. Depends on you. You want to keep suffering, you are very welcome to it. Me, I'm like, no. No thanks. Maybe not. All right, lovely people. It's not fun. It isn't. So there we are. All right. Speak to you again sometime when I'm on. I'll keep sharing stuff that's useful, content that's helpful, that's uplifting. So if you're going to stay here and you want to at least improve this illusion, if you want to play, the body, the human, this game, then you can at least minimize your suffering. But understand you can't stop it, because if you're choosing good now, and this and that, this is temporary, and life, like anyone knows, lifetimes, That's why they say don't resist or resist. That's, anyway, yeah. If you want to get through this easily, don't choose. Don't take sides. Don't choose a good or bad. It's just, who can say it? They're going to be sitting and suffering, going, and this is fine. I like it. You see? Yeah. It's not identifying with anything, and that is, yeah. I suppose it wasn't easy. Well, it's also the ego, it's also choice, it's also mind. It is easy if you just decide that's it and stop believing in it and stop. It is, when you think about it, is a choice. Because you know the truth, right? So you can decide that's it. But it literally is cancelling what you call this life. It's disengaging with it. So now you understand probably why they went up into a mountain, into some monastery in the middle of nowhere, because you don't need to participate in the life. The more you participate in the illusion, which is the Maya, all of this, the more. But once you've solidified that, you can walk back into the Maya, because then you just don't associate with it. You're just an observer. But you need to get that solid ground first, you see. So that's probably why they disappeared up into the mountain for 2 years, into some retreat and whatever else. Great, Yeah. But there we are. The mind is the illusion. The mind, without the mind, there is no ego. The thoughts, that's what creates this whole, you see. So if you want to dissolve the ego, the real falsity, the fact that you are a human is in me, separate from source, you've got to not participate with it. Because that is the mechanism that separated you from source. Okay. Love you all. Have a good evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. I just thought I'd drop in because I have been quiet and explain where I've disappeared to, what I'm up to. Okay. But it's for me. I was like, no, I want to get back to that. That was a nice state of being. Now at least I understand how I fell back into this whole thing, Oh, why? Anyway, there we are. As I say, I haven't had a teacher, a guru, a Buddha. Everything I've come to learn or know was self-seeking. I found some online. It came within, as you say, guided. You ask, listen, I've had enough of this nonsense, and the videos and the things will come to you. The guidance, the people, the teachers, or but it's not easy to find. This is a sad thing, and it's not being shared widely among the awakened so-called lightworker starseed community at all. At all. Why is that? See, mainstream people, like they're not misleading people. The mainstream people are not trying to mislead you about the real enlightenment, the real awakening up, the real guru. This movement has been co-opted. Very much into the illusion of the same thing. Still in the ego, understand? When you are playing me, a being, a human, this and that, and other beings, and they're good, and you're very much in the duality and thing. Very much. Okay. Hate, divine, any of that. It's so lower, yeah. Anyway, there we are. It is out there. But the main teachings are not easy to find online, really. Because normally you have to go to a monk or a Buddha or one of those schools. And you got to swear your thing and give everything up. And literally, they teach you. It's a very old tradition. It's been going on for centuries. It's not like really adept for 100,000s of us running around on the planet. So... Yeah, a real one. You don't just go and visit them. You've got to be there. They'll take you on if they can see that you're not, that you really have true purpose there. And that's it. You give up everything and you walk in there with your loincloth and you have to say your vows, and there we are. That's it. They're not going to play around otherwise. Could you imagine? You'd waste your time, people. Not many people are willing to, you see. The ego doesn't like to give up its things, its comforts, you see. There we are. True. But you reach a certain level, you'll be happy to do it. But you start this path, and you see when the mind quietens, and when you get there, there is no selfishness, because it's selfishness. This selfishness, this I don't really want that. I want to keep. I'm happy. My comfort, my home, my this, my that. That's the ego. Now, when you get more into this state, the closer, the higher you get, that falls away. And it doesn't matter what you do. You don't care. You could be serving soup in a soup kitchen. You could be. That's what like they do. That's it. Then you know. But it's to stay there. And I got all these things, but I didn't stay there because I didn't understand any. It's discipline. You got to practice. It doesn't just automatically keep going on its own. You see. And then of course, that will come up, and then you'll get an offer. And now you're not understanding. Then I didn't realize this. This is a new revelation. This is the ego, not the separate self. It's not like you're on this. So the ego will come up and say, "Oh, what would you?" And then you get this dangled things are funny when you think, yeah, I want to do that. Off, that's it. Hook, line, and sinker. You back down there. I'm like, shit. I had no idea. And you think, oh, that's so nice. Yeah, I like that. Anyway, there we are. I'm like, net. Back on the road again, people. I asked for that. I was on it, and then I got waylaid. Now I'm aware of these things. I'm like, but I say, it's challenging. Just be aware of that. Okay. And it's practice and discipline. It takes, like even today. Today was not as successful as yesterday because I hardly slept last night. I was tired, and the mind was like, ooh, it kept getting busy. So anyway, I'm going to go sleep now. All right, night.